On this site we've set up a specific waste segregation area, and at that area each of the skips will have segregated Graham branded waste signage. The types of materials that we would segregate on site are timber, metal, inert waste, plastics. Anything that has a recyclable content, we'll endeavour to take it out of the mixed waste stream, because that means that we are able to increase our overall recycling percentages. In addition to our segregation of construction waste, we segregate office waste as well, so it's things like paper, plastics and cans, and again we have segregated bins for these types of materials, and they're all, they have signage so that everybody knows what material belongs in which bin. We also have a clothing recycling bin, and we have a battery recycling bin. We operate a site waste management plan on this site. As part of that site waste management plan, we have forecast the waste that we anticipate that we will be producing. We'll also set actions to minimise waste. So the likes of plasterboard, it's trying to get sheets that are the correct size rather than having a number of offcuts. The site waste management plan process also includes the actual measurement of waste. So we're able to set against our forecast with the actual what we've actually achieved, which means that we're able to measure our performance against our targets. All of our hazardous materials are stored in a secure and sealed bin that's labelled as hazardous waste. Once we have accumulated enough hazardous waste, we will use a specialist contractor to remove that.
We control our contractors' waste. We make sure we have licensed contractors who remove all the waste. What they do is then give all the waste transfer notes. We follow up to ensure that they are compliant, and then they'll give us reports like these ones, breaking down the amount of waste, the categories, and what goes to landfill.
As part of the demolition of the houses on the route of the A2, we were able to salvage a significant amount of materials in order to increase our overall reuse and recycling rates. Items that we were able to salvage included an oil tank, which we then used within the site compound, and also all the radiators for all of the site accommodation, again within the compound.
Due to the constrained nature of the site, there's a requirement to construct 2.5 kilometres of retaining walls along the online section. The retaining walls are all masonry clad. There were existing retaining walls, so we have reused the stonework and processed that and built that into the permanent walls, which total about 10% of the overall stone requirement. We have developed a value engineering proposal at the tie-in locations where the new works rejoins the existing carriageway. We are proposing to resurface the existing carriageway, which will reduce the full depth construction in that area. The environmental benefits of this is it reduces the excavated material and also reduces the requirement for imported stone.
We've had problems elsewhere on the project where we came across unforeseen asbestos that had been buried below the ground 50, 60 years ago. We came to an arrangement with SEPA and the council, the regulator. The large lumps of asbestos have been removed by a specialist contractor who has been qualified to deal with the asbestos, and the large pieces of asbestos have been removed. But it still remains that there's some of the soils have asbestos fibres contained in, and that in itself is a problem because you cannot remove fibres from the soil. And if you send soil away on bulk, it costs an absolute fortune to send it to the other side of Scotland for it to be disposed of. So we came to the arrangement with SEPA and the regulator to actually bury the asbestos beside one of the flood walls on the project, encapsulate it in concrete so it's buried well down out of sight. Further to that, there is areas where we've had Japanese knotweed, which has been stem injected and treated on site, but there's large quantities of it. And the soils, although they remain clean and they look fine, there may still be rhizomes within the soils that may at some stage start to grow again. But again, those soils are going to come up to this centre here and be buried in certain locations in here, and these locations will be noted that we know where they were buried.